I can't seem to shake you, baby. I can't seem to shake you, baby. All I do is dream about you, baby. All I do is dream about you. Remember when you loved me? I loved you and then you left me alone. You know I'd always come back home. We can't pretend that this is the end, baby. All I do is dream about you. I can't seem to shake you, baby. I swear tomorrow that I'll give you up. Save the sorrow for when we wake up. But for tonight it seems I'm tangled up in you. Tangled up in you. I can't seem to shake you, baby. I can't seem to shake you, baby. I swear tomorrow that I'll give you up. And I will save the sorrow for when we wake up. But for tonight it seems I'm tangled up in you. Tangled up in you. Tangled up in you. Tangled up
Live on Chicano Tube, live on Chicano Street, the voice for Chicanos. We're back. It's Friday night, the Chicano Hour. I need you to do me that pinche favor. Por favor. Just hit the like, hit the subscribe. And at the same time, when you hit the subscribe, hit the bell. You got to hit the all button. That way you're notified every single time we go live. Of course, I have my co-host with me. ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, bien, gracias. Hello, everyone. Nice to see all of you again.
It almost seems like a reintroduction. You know what I mean? People want to hear about holistic remedies, healings, health, diet, frequency, vibrations. Here we go. The Chicano Hour every single 2 weeks. Here we go. But before that, we got the formalities. Espérense. Tú ya sabes. Espérense. Gracias, all the day wonders. Gracias to everyone in the members only. The members only. You know who you are. The backbone of the community is the members only. And también Dia de las Madres, Dia de Madres, say it correctly, right? In Mexico.
Feliz Dia de las Madres.
Okay, I thought they took out the las. Dia de Madres.
Las Madres.
Depends who you hear it from, right?
I've always heard Las Madres. Thank you very much, Everlasting. I appreciate that. So yes, today is Mexican Mother's Day, every May 10th, every year.
So I pulled up to East Salinas over there. Everyone knows where the flower spots in East Salinas. It's in the food co parking lot. No, all the gente, all the raza from Salinas know. And I could I had to park like almost, I told you, by the far corner sidewalk, packed, nothing but gente, and a lot of them getting flowers and everything. So, Feliz Dia de Madres. Gracias all the day wonders. The Chicano channels, you know who you are. There's not too many out there. I think we're one of the first ones, okay? And everyone else is coming on board. A little slowly but surely, we're finding out who the Chicano channels are, and even the Chicano pages también. Let's not limit it to YouTube. We have Instagram, we have TikTok. Of course, we're going live with all of those. So gracias to them as well. And let's go ahead and get into it. Oh, real quick, I want to give a shout out to Wayward Son. He was my guest on the last video. No quiero que se me pase eso. I mean, the truth hurts. The truth hurts, and we never been told the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me Dios, we haven't. And you know, one thing I want to say is Dia de Madres, right? Did you hear what Wayward Son said about lineage and mothers?
Yes,
Okay, what do you think about that?
I agree with him.
You agree? If the lineage, let me tell you like this: if lineage is from the mother's side, gente, I'm telling you, my ancestors were probably jaguar warriors. You want to see my mom's mom, and you will see 100% indigenous. No, those are facts. Big facts. What about on your side, Amor?
I think it's 50-50, but we do have, I think, a little bit more of the mother. I look like my mom, and I also have her personality. So I don't know.
100%. So I just wanted to mention that it's Mother's Day. And if that is true, again, I have to say if, keywords, I haven't researched too much into it, but those are the things we talk about here on the Chicano channel. I'll tell you what, we talk about cultura, we talk about knowledge. Basically, the main objective for the channel has always been empower Chicanos through knowledge and experience. And if we can learn something too, I'm not claiming to be the know-it-all of know-it-alls. I want to learn with you, cabrones. So hit that like and hit that subscribe. Shout out to Wayward Son. I think this is going to be the most important podcast we have to this date. The most important one that we've ever done on YouTube Landia, because this is in regards to helping the raza on YouTube Landia. When I told you we were going to do this a week or 2 weeks ago, what'd you think?
What's one of my favorite topics to talk about. So yes, I'm excited. I'm happy.
That's right, Everlasting Base. I see you, my boy. Gracias. Era 209. Hey, strap on in, cabrón. Amárrate el cinturón, way. We're about to talk about it. But anyways, so yeah, gracias all the day wonders. This information, there's a lot of information that's not put out there, especially if you look on the internet, gente. Might as well just kick it off. Let's go. Have you ever noticed that when you go on the internet, how most of the websites on the, and gente, I'm gonna be speaking in Spanglish. So if I say departamentos de enfermedades, you know what I mean without saying the 3 letters. Y el doctor, you know, el flaco con el pelo blanco, that you know what I'm talking about. If I say big C, I'm talking about la enfermedad que nos mata todo el cuerpo. If I'm talking about little C, I'm talking about what happened in the 3 years, you know, that we were locked down. So I'm going to be talking in Spanish. I'm going to try, but next thing you know, we soltamos la lengua. And to be honest, si quieren bloquear aquí lo que estamos haciendo, that's fine. We'll come back and we'll start up again. And you know that we went out speaking the truth and nothing but the truth. And at least if it helps one person, we did it for the raza and for Chicanos. There is no websites, absolutely zero. I don't care what browser you look on the internet that show you anything that has to do with como nosotros sabemos que se debe de sanar. Naturalmente, pencas de sábila my mom used to cut. Why do you think that? And why are 99.9% of the websites pointing you a las pastillas?
Because the pharmaceutical industry is a multi-billion-dollar, maybe trillion-dollar business. And they're not in the business to cure you. They're in the business to continue business. So as long as you are, you know, continuing using their medicine, you know, we obviously there's no cure. They don't find cures for many diseases. You keep making them rich. So, and they can't get rich with natural remedies because they can't. What is that when they call when you you make a product and you
they make a pinchy product, they gotta sell it. It's all about
yes, but then they like almost
process
like,
package.
No, you know when you buy your name,
Brand?
Breton
Trademark?
trademark. It's sort of like a
Copyright?
trademark, but it's not a trademark. It's something else. Can't think of the name right now.
Come on.
But anyways, vitamins, minerals, anything that's made natural, they can't make money out of it because it's natural.
Incentivize it.
Yes. So, but yes, the pharmaceutical industry is one of the richest industries, and we believe, actually, I would say we know that they're not in it for the people; they're in it for their pockets. That's what it is.
And cabrones, don't get this twisted, all right? We're not over here for a whole hour that we spend right here talking on the Chicano hour, trying to shame anybody, cabrones. We already know it's Mother's Day weekend. Estás comiendo.
Patent. That's the word.
Patent. Vas a comer, vaco, vas a comer. We might even get into diets. If we can get back. The first thing I want to touch to the raza gente is los asesinos de nuestros cuerpos. If we could talk about diets, we'll get to it.
Well, diet goes hand in hand with health because what we eat, what we're consuming, especially the American diet right now, it's one of the main causes of illness. So diet is very, very important. We have to talk about that topic. If we want to talk about health, we have to talk about what we eat, because that is perhaps, if it's not the main cause, it's one of the top main causes of illness.
And because it's a struggle for so many people, it's hard. I know what it is. We're in a country where everything is flavor driven, and all the commercials and everything you see splashing and melted cheese and all that cause us to have medical complications. Y yo, primeramente te voy a decir esto, okay? Solo Dios sabe the day I'm going to check out. You never know. I could drink the most greenest juice and have the most natural body and put nothing but natural products on my body, like organic deodorant que casi no sirve, and you will smell. I mean, just keep that a buck in a couple of hours. And still, Dios sabe the day I'm going to check out. But what we want to do is give you some information, not trying to shame anybody, okay? Because a lot of these things, we're going to talk about alcohol, smoking. I'm going to give them to you in order as statistics show for Mexicano Americanos in the U.S. coming from the Departamento de Enfermedad website. Okay, that website. You know what I mean? Yes. Which one? The Charles David Charles. I can say that website, okay? You know what's crazy? No, I'm going to tell you like this, honey. You're not going to believe this. I went to the Charles David Charles website, right, to try to, look up some, even though I know they're all made numbers, but and you know what is there was a banner on there. You're not going to believe me what the banner said on the Charles David Charles website. You know what the banner said? It said there was a link, like it was on the side, like a bunch of links you can click on, information resource links, and it said how racism can lead to cancer. Híjole, ya la regué. I should have said the big C. Anyways, I couldn't believe that. Maybe we'll talk about that later. But yes, let's see if we can talk about diets. I'm gonna be talking in Spanglish if I can remember to, and if not, they blocked the stream. De ahí vamos, cabrones. Okay, so this information has caused countless holistic doctores que pierden sus licencias and all of their social media presence. O sea, none. They're not going to have, who they don't have a voice, gente. Y estamos en un país. I mean, why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? They'll
silence you. They'll silence you because, again, it goes against their narrative, and their narratives to keep making money and, keep people sick, because that's how they make their money. Keep people enslaved, keep people sick, and they make money. So if you have doctors that have scientifically, help their patients come out of, the sea, other illnesses such as inflammation, diabetes, and all that, they don't want that. They don't want that. So unfortunately, many people, and I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be. We're supposed to believe doctors, but people are not ready to think out of the box and question, what the doctors prescribe, and maybe look into alternative medicine.
It's funny because if you think about it, gente, other pinches países, countries have banned artificials, have banned chemicals, have banned cochinadas that if you just take a picture of most of our gas stations, and again, I'm not trying to shame you, cabrones. Of course, I have papitas every once in a while, or we'll talk about alcohol and smoking a little bit, maybe. The four, at least five main matadores de la raza. That's what we're going to talk about. The 4 or 5 biggest asesinos to the gente. You take a picture of that whole rack and shelf que tiene puras papitas and everything else right there. And where does that come from? Cochinada.
Yeah.
100%. So other countries have done that, but the United States no ha hecho eso. So más lo que hace the United States es un negocio. It really is a negocio. Like you had mentioned, the medicinas. Okay. That's a better word. Okay. You already said the PH word, so it's already out there, but I'm just kidding. Departamento de Medicinas. I was over here trying to navigate around words, but no, speaking the truth, that's why it happens. And have you noticed, gente in the chat, let me know if you noticed or you, what have noticed. I have noticed more people passing away from stroke, more people passing away from the big C, and more people what they call, enfermedad de corazón, that's the same thing as stroke.
High blood pressure.
Yes, cardiovascular or neurological, even también como el ALZ, el Alzheimer. También, have you noticed people in their 40s now? That happening too, even earlier in life, in the 30s. I mean, I don't know how many times I go on social media and there's funerals.
Yes.
And you find out there someone else just passed away too. Me dijo el Fabián. Everyone's been posting about it. I guess he was in the industry in Salinas, and I'm like, how? Like at 45 or 6 is this happening? You know what? The diet has a lot to do with it. Again, agendas to make that money for the price of however many vidas it costs. I think it's really happening, gente. I think it's really, really happening. At the end of the day, if you ended up cutting off todo ese dinero, what would you do? You would cut off the lifeline of how many industries? Primero las pastillas. All that money would disappear. All that money de las pastillas, that would all disappear. Okay? And then you would cut off también los de los médicos. They got less work to do because they have less patients to treat. Makes sense, right?
Right.
También, what other industry you cut off? Aseguranza. Insurance. You would cut off that from billions and billions and billions of dollars. Just those 3 industries that I just named right now is powerful enough. That means there's enough people with enough money behind them. That means rich men and women that are going to say, keep this money flowing. As many lives as it's going to cost, who cares? And that life is you and that life is me. That's crazy. We're going to talk diets, curamentos for all the top major asesinos de la raza. And exercise and diet if we can get there. I don't even know if we can get there, but asesino número 1 for the raza. Here it is. If you didn't know, get some knowledge. Grab your pinche popcorn. If you're listening on podcast style, don't forget to hit that like. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. I appreciate everyone in the 831. Here we go. Número uno. That number 1 asesino for the raza, the big C. The big C. In all forms, in all angles, it attacks the body. 20% of the raza, statistics on muertes every single year, 20% of the raza is wiped away by the big C.
And it's an alarming number, more than ever at this point.
And younger, and getting a whole lot younger. People in their 40s.
20s, 30s.
30s, going down to the 30s. Not one. When I was researching this, I was like, why isn't there one single reference to a resource on how to prevent it? You notice there's not? There is not one. I don't care on what website. And esos son los apartamentos más grandes del gobierno, the government.
Yes.
These are.
And then if you use Google, I mean, it's not going to be on the first 50 pages of Google. It's filled with propaganda, and you won't find like how to prevent it, which is really, really sad. Or, I mean, how to prevent it, y menos how to cure it, right?
Menos lo que lo causa. Because obviously, as a disclaimer, they're never going to tell you to avoid what they want you to buy.
Right.
what they want you to consume, what they want you to put inside your body. 20%. This is we're gonna go at least. I got like 3 or 4 asesinos, and then maybe we'll get into dieting and exercise. But the biggest asesinos, if you take anything away from this, now a lot of us, from what I said, numero uno, the big C, know somebody immediately. That's how big the numbers are in immediate families. I can name one in mine. You can name one in yours that has been attacked by it. All that thing. Do you think? Let me ask you this. Prevention wise, is it diet? Is it environment? Diet's number one. Prevent this.
Both the diet and the environment. The environment, all the toxins, that we buy for cleaning, the stuff we're breathing, the stuff we're putting on our hair, shampoos, soaps, stuff we're putting on our skin. That with the
All toxins.
all
toxins.
toxins. We're
One of
putting
the
on our
worst
skin, and our
toxins.
skin is our biggest organ of our body, and it absorbs everything inside. So if you're buying stuff with a lot of toxins, then you are really putting poison in your body.
Gente, how many of you guys are squeezing a bunch of hand sanitizer? Montones cada día, absorbing the skin because sometimes you don't get to wash your hands. And that's the number one. Now, I did some research. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you went ahead and you optimize your body, that means you help the cells fight what they need to fight, and you convert it to dieta, like say from an acidic to an alkaline. They say, gente como el doctor que callaron allá de India y otros doctores, they say that is how you would neutralize it and defeat it, and it lifts your chances. This alkaline diet, it lifts your chances from what would be normally if you went down the road of fuiste a mirar un doctor, te dio pastillas, and your path is already written. It went from that 5-15% survival rate to 85-95% survival rate. Si haces eso a tu cuerpo. Have you heard of that?
So I've heard it like 15 years ago or so. I bought a book. The guy got banned all over, but if you guys want to reach me on Instagram, I'll let you know what book it is. So if you have your pH is very acidic, you are basically feeding your body, your cells, you're feeding the cancer cells. So if you do a diet that's very high in alkaline, you will basically kill the cells, because cancer cannot survive in an alkaline body. It just can't. So changing your diet to more alkaline would definitely help, and it would prevent it. So yes.
And a little bit of a back on that, to what's inside all that alkaline and everything like that is what's called los pH levels.
Yeah, your pH.
So it comes from like veggies,
Most
fruits,
grains are high in
nuts, kidneys, frijoles, o sea, stuff that we eat, but you would have to immediately for that. I mean, and this is just the research that I've seen, okay, that I know. I don't know, but I'll tell you like that. If something like that ravages your body, why wouldn't you do every extreme that you knew of?
Yes, I would.
Instead of what lo que dice el doctor. El doctor Chapatín. Instead of just what he says, why not try everything? And I know you're probably not going to be able to convince someone else. And again, we're giving this information now, gente, because I want you to at least have something to reference to next time when you want to know the biggest asesinos and what we need to do to optimize our bodies to fight these things. Comidas, let's go to asesino número 2 for the raza. Okay, asesino coming in again at 20%. There was just barely a point, like 2 or 3 of a difference between the big C. Let me
say something about the big C. Not only trying to eat more alkaline foods, but you have to completely 100% eliminate sugar, because sugar feeds those cells. You have to let go of sugar 100%. And one of the best ways to kill that disease is fasting. You start doing those 72-hour fasts, like once at least every other week. Intermittent fasting, you will destroy that. So to me, knowing that information is very empowering, because I could share it with my loved ones. Obviously, my husband and I and my kids, I would put them on that diet immediately. But fasting is one of the best ways to destroy those bad cells.
It's funny you mentioned that. I did a video on fasting. Remember I told you I did that
Mhm.
fast. My wife, she doesn't even know when I do. My wife doesn't even know when I fast because
Mm.
all of a sudden I'll tell her in the morning, and I broken some fast because I didn't tell you, and you cooked such a good dinner. I had to, I had to break the fast. The food was so good. I do a 72-hour fast once a month because it's a toxin cleaner, system rebooter, immune system resetter. It cleans everything out. People think we're just so used to consuming comida. We mostly eat, over 90% of human beings mostly eat for comfort. O sea, nomás, oh, pues es hora de lonche. You're not even hungry. You know you're not hungry, raza. Come on, cut it out. Okay, don't lie to me in the chat and tell me que tienen hambre al lonche, tienen hambre en la cena. What it is estás acostumbrado a comer tanto cada día. That's what I'm saying. But I do the fasting.
Mm.
That would be like an immediate first step in order to boost. You would release so much energy into you, and cells would revive, and you actually reset your immune
Yes.
system. And some of us that have allergies, que siempre it takes a whole week to get over a cold, it's because we need that reboot.
Erod 209 just said he tries to fast at least 14 hours daily, which is kind of like what I do. I'll stop eating around 6 and I give up my fast. And I usually give it up for coffee, which I wish I didn't because I don't have my first meal till maybe 11 or 12. But I do give it up for coffee, but I do have the bulletproof coffee, which gets me into ketosis right away. But yes, fasting is very, very powerful. So we highly recommend that. That, along with staying away from sugar and doing a high alkaline diet, you'll be good.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about that because one of these
Mhm.
enfermedades, some of them are more sugar based.
Mhm.
Número dos, de los corazones, disease.
High
That's
blood
all.
pressure.
Yes. También strokes. Okay. So the number one cause for that, heart disease, the number one cause for that amongst, this is 20% of the raza. 20% of the raza. The big C is 20%. This was barely like 0.2 lower. 20% of the raza, heart disease and strokes. The main cause of that, fumando. No fumando, fumando tobacco,
Mm.
because there's something inside the tobacco que no tiene lo otro. A lot of people didn't know the carcinogens are inside of tobacco. Okay, it's different. There's been some research, don't quote me on this, but there's been some research that actually THC and what's inside of it actually has some big C deterrents, some compounds that combat that. It's strange. I don't know. I don't work in a lab, but that's all. That's what I've understood. But the number two is el corazón fallando, and the main cause of that is fumando. And just, I mean, how many people fuma? How many people? Yo fumé mucho de eso, pues maybe like 2 years as a teenager, but mostly everyone just had packs of cigarettes just because they had them. Everyone back in the 90s, everyone just nomás tenían cigarros. And at least, thank God, pues paré, and I think in 2 years. And then I turned into just after a 40, a cigarro every once in a while after the 40. But that was long breaks in between. No teniendo eso.
So, Bui Aguilar says that Netflix has a good little flick and it followed 4 different people and the importance of different bacteria that help us. And we don't have those bacteria anymore. I don't know if you're talking about, the gut bacteria, which, we have to have probiotics in our gut. Most foods don't carry that, but there are a few things you could do to fill your gut with good bacteria. If your gut is clean and it has high bacteria, you'll be also very healthy. So the gut is very important. And right now, you mentioned, the heart. I could agree that cigarettes cause, the problems,
A big
but
part of it.
so does inflammation. And I know a lot about inflammation. And inflammation is caused by what you eat. And I will tell you guys the 2 most deadly things you could put into your body that cause inflammation. Number 1 is vegetable oil. Anything that has a seed oil causes inflammation. Vegetable oil being the highest. And number 2 is sugar. So if you stay away from seed oil, such as vegetable oil and sugar, you can lower the inflammation, which causes heart problems, diabetes also, and cancer.
So the biggest kind of aceite que todos
Mhm.
cocinan de rancho, o sea, discos and everything else, we put gallons and gallons and gallons. Can we at least eat for the disco to keep our sanity? Yeah.
So I have that rule, like once maybe every 2 months if he wants to cook, if Mike wants to cook with a disco, obviously vegetable oil tastes better, like, but that's once every 2, 3 months. And you can't help when you go out to eat, you have to think if you go out to eat, it's very likely they're using vegetable oil. So you have to minimize that as much as possible. We cook with, I cook with olive oil, 100% pure, 100% made in Italy, and you can get that at Costco. It's about $25, but you have to make sure that it's 100% pure, made in Italy. That's the purest form of olive oil. Uh, we do avocado oil as well, and coconut oil. What else do we? MCT oil, and if I have to use fat, I use grass-fed, 100% organic butter, and that's what we cook with, but no vegetable oil in my house.
Órale. Route 209, I think your weight plays a big role. Yeah, if I ever get a chance to do a video, cabron, I'll talk about the 7 male body types that there is, and all of them break down how much muscle to fat, ratios we have, metabolism rates, that makes that makes the muscle sit on the body. So some of us are bigger, some of us are smaller. You're right. There's 7 different body types for men. And then, of course, age has a factor to do with it, cabron, because I'm in my 40s, cabron, so it's not going to, my metabolism is twice as much for now to do what a youngster takes them and half the time to do. Maybe we'll talk about that. But you're right, when it comes to disease, el corazón, heart disease, that consumption, it goes back to the diet. Otra vez. This is our diet. This is most of the raza's diet, man. And I'm in Salinas. Ahí viven, we're de puros campesinos. O sea, la mayoría de the 93905. Shout out to the Alisal district. Shout out to everyone in the 93905. You already know who you are, cabrón. When we go to the major grocery stores, what is the raza mostly buying? Just a whole cart is Gatorade. Okay, just one whole cart.
Coca-Cola.
One whole cart. Another whole cart is Coca-Cola. Okay, another whole cart is Top Ramens. Okay, and by not
No, and then the harinas.
another whole cart is tortillas, the guerreros, the maíz. So what it is the raza doesn't know that we're literally cutting off 10 to 15 years out of our lives for things that we've inherited, as far as esto es lo que vas a comer, and thinking of la dieta as just a funny banda song.
Yes. Richie just asked, how about corn oil? That's one of the worst ones too. So stay away from that. Corn oil, vegetable oil, anything with seeds is really, really bad for you. And
I heard Gary Brecka say those oil seeds, they fry them like at 400 degrees, the melt or corn vegetables.
Mhm.
And it said it gives off such a rancid odor. Like they literally have to mix another chemical into the oils just for the odor to be something que cuando lo destapas, it doesn't make you vomit. He said a rancid. I heard 2 doctors say a rancid odor. We eat a lot of oil. But what about natural oil? O sea, what if the people just use bacon?
Yes, so I cook with bacon oil a lot too. So when I make bacon, I'll fry my eggs on the oil, and it's natural oil. So fat oil, like real fat from like the real raw meat that you just cook, is good for you.
Now, we haven't even told you guys what kind of diet that we do, right? I call it Me Too. Okay, it's a mixture of Mexican and keto. Okay, don't worry, I already trademarked that. No, just kidding. So that's what we do. It's a high fat and high protein diet, and we eat the same 4 or 5 foods. I don't know if we should get into it now. We're into asesino número 2 de la raza. The big C's number 1. This one, heart disease number 2. Número 3.
You want to talk about keto or no?
Everything goes back to diet. And no matter what, we're always going to talk about the diet. We could talk about keto after every single one because that's a big one. But let's talk about number 3 because it's also super big that affects a lot of the raza, is diabetes. diabetes. The main cause is the absolute worst substance. And I'm not talking about alcohol, cabrón. Some of you think I'm talking about alcohol. The absolute, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the number one asesino de nuestros cuerpos as a raza, this is almost 20%. This was like 19%. Azúcar,
Mhm.
sugar.
Yeah.
And how much sugar is just the most American breakfast you can have every morning. The most American breakfast you can have every morning is what? Cereal. And boxes of cereal we're putting at least
I
those
mean, about
16,
100, at
18,
least 100 grams of sugar.
at least until they can start chewing,
Mhm.
1 or 2 years old, until they graduate from high school and leave your house. You're giving them cereal every morning. I know, again, I'm not trying to shame you, gente. Don't think we're trying to shame you over it. None of us are perfect. We eat those things sometimes that we're talking about right now. Boxing for 10 years. Boxing for 10 years helped me stay on a diet robotically, systematically. It was no thing for me to eat the same 4 or 5 foods. We'll get into diets, but what do you know about este asesino that is plaguing the raza almost 20%, 19 point something percent? We're going to 100. These are the main asesinos de nosotros. What do you know about it? What do you think can deter it?
What do I know about the D?
See. Yeah, we're on that one
Well,
right now.
obviously food is a big component. Stress is causing it too.
Stress.
Stress causes it too. Like high emotions can cause it, but obviously what triggers it is definitely sugar. So again, sugar not only messes you up if you're insulin resistant, which more than 50% of the country in America is insulin resistant. So if you're having that, that just causes inflammation. It leads to diabetes, the big C word.
They're related.
They're all related. They all go hand in hand, and it goes back to inflammation. It goes back to diet as well. So if you want to starve those cells, you starve them by not feeding them with sugar. You have to look at all the labels because most of the food, like even tomato cans and all that, they add sugar. They add sugar to practically everything. So you have to read all the labels and make sure that you buy stuff that doesn't have added sugar. For example, the peanut butter that I buy rich peanut butter on Amazon. It's 100% organic with no added sugar and it tastes delicious. It's a little pricier. So that be ready to pay a little bit more. But yes, read all your labels and avoid anything that has added sugar. So yeah.
Another thing que tiene azúcar inside of it is another C word, but we could say this one. We're going to be okay with this one. Carbohydrates.
Mhm. Gabriel
Carbohydrates.
just said fasting kills the cells. Yes, we just mentioned that like a few minutes ago. Fasting is extremely, extremely powerful to kill those cells and it's anti-inflammatory. It is one of the best things you could do for your body, fasting.
Yeah, I had heard that carbohydrates and azúcar, they go hand in hand. So basically, lo que pasa es que el azúcar, it causes unwanted carbohydrates in your bloodstream, and it needs a release. And the hormone that does it is la insulina, and it helps it. The insulina processes it through. But if you don't have that, this is what happens this is you overworking your system, gente. This is what the raza does. We overwork our system by consuming crap, cochinada, basura, shit that we don't help our body help us. And then when an enfermedad hits us, we can't even fight it because our bodies are not optimal. They're not as strong as they should be. And so in the situation con esto con diabetes, and I think that the azúcar carbohydrate intake automatically has to go because is there, let me ask you this, is there such thing as good carbohydrates that you know of? I haven't heard of any. I don't even know why we need that. Can we just go with protein? Is protein enough power and fuel, or some
Well,
carbohydrates?
back
Because
in the day, and I'm talking about before, the V word, the jab,
okay, yeah,
before people would get injected with that, before they started putting chemicals in our food, there was fruit, and fruit is very high in carbohydrates. But back in the day, fruit didn't cause anything because it was 100% organic. People were eating organic. It was not until things started changing, they started putting a lot of stuff on the food, a lot of processed chemicals, that even fruit and causes high blood
También.
pressure and sugar. Yeah, it causes inflammation because everything has chemicals now. So if we lived in a very organic world where nothing, the food that we ate didn't have any chemicals, we could eat fruit, which has a lot of carbohydrates, and we'd be okay. So if you look at people from the 1930s, 1940s, you would notice that most people were very thin and lean, women and men, and
Yeah.
they were eating fruit and they were eating bread, but now we can't because everything has chemicals and it causes inflammation. So,
It's crazy you say that
mhm,
because I just picture the fields in Salinas
mhm,
and I picture the helicopters always flying over us
yes,
spraying stuff. None of that is healthy then.
mhm,
Anything they're spraying, because they try to say that, that it's supposed to, they're trying to say that it's to matar chemicals, but
mhm,
I don't even think that's what it is. I think they're just coating it, huh?
mhm.
Coating all the agricultura. Híjole, what vitamins do you guys recommend? Trip out. So I recommend methylated vitamins. I don't recommend these all-in-ones, these centrums, and these very, very common vitamins that most of us buy. And we're like, oh, well, an extra $10. El pomo era $30. So it has to be healthy. It's not, cabrón. It's $30 a crap. Some of these pinches vitaminas, man. My bad, you guys. Anyways, I recommend methylated, and to be completely honest, is because one of the los doctores, the one that changed Dana White's life, Gary Brecka, he's the one that recommended it, and it's because they have a quicker release of the pot in a more concentrated form of lo que si ocupa el cuerpo. D3 also as well is one. If this is what men don't know, the most natural testosterone producing vitamin. And this is for you guys if you're talking about que me está cayendo el pelo, or you're having other problems that you're just lacking in testosterone. D3 mixed with
K2, because K2, so D3 is really, really powerful and really good for both men and women. But K2, what K2 does, it cleans your arteries and your veins, so it doesn't have calcification. So D3 is very, very important, but you have to have it with K2, vitamin K2.
Richie Lokes, that spam spray, that Pam spray,
No,
that's
that's bad.
another one.
That's really
That's
bad.
cabrón. You might as
So
well just be
D3,
spray.
you
Go ahead.
mentioned D3, obviously, organic form of vitamin C. Um, Minerals are very important. One of the things I try to have like almost on a daily is I bought Celtic salt, which carries close to 90 minerals, and it's very high in minerals, so that is very important to have in your body. Um,
Hey,
and
that Pam spray, cabron, it's like you might as well just be spraying pepper spray. It's like the same thing, 100% chemicals, different reactions. Because what do they do? They actually cover up chemicals with other chemicals to make it smell good. Man, we're putting a lot of crap on our bodies. Again, we're not saying we're perfect, gente, but I believe that the diet and routine on how nosotros nos curamos, I think we're adding at least 20 years to our life. And it's crazy because 20 years to my life, are you kidding me? I'd rather have that than to look back and be like, hey, I was just, viviendo mi vida pasajera, or having a good time for a photo. And instead, I'd rather be around and see my great grandbaby. So hey, that Pam spray, cabron, that's no good, bro. You might as well just be cooking with cologne. Pura manteca's good.
mm,
It's grasa. Is that
yeah,
natural? Have you heard anything about manteca?
I would
Not
make
every day,
sure make
maybe
sure
cholesterol.
I would make sure that it's like
Is there good
from
manteca and bad
well,
manteca?
the ones you buy at the store is bad. You have to make sure that it's purely processed, not, chemically altered. So you have to make sure it's raw, 100% organic. And if you can get it from the actual pig, then you're good.
The grocery store might step on it, gente. That's what she means. And you know, my people know they might cut it. That means add to it to make it more, or people just put stuff to preserve it. If you can make it fresh, just make it fresh, gente. Again, we're not 100%, gente. We vacation, we go on birthday parties for our own sanity.
Someone just said I'm drinking Coke. I am not drinking Coke. I'm drinking
Manteca de
sparkling
puerco.
water.
All right,
Sparkling
we already
water.
talked about corn oil. Now I'm
I
just
do
going
not drink
about
Coke.
canola oil. We already talked about all that. What's up, homie? That's right, Israel. I see you, my boy. Gracias for tapping in the Chicano hour, cabron. You know, every city has a Chicano street way. That's where everyone's wearing Pendletons, cabron. Hit that like. Coronas and modelos are good for you. Que no, Mikey? Haha, I'm just kidding. Let's talk about alcohol.
Yes, alcohol is really bad.
Alcohol. Let me see. Did I write it
There's
down?
actually nothing good about alcohol. It pretty much slowly destroys your liver. So your liver is one of the most important organs that detoxes your body. And it takes, so say you drink once a week. Let's just say once, not every day, once a week. It takes about 72 hours, 3 days for your body, for your liver to clean out the alcohol. Meaning those 3 days, it cannot help you lose weight. It cannot help you give you energy. It cannot help you kill certain stuff that you need to kill, that your body, your cells, rejuvenate your cells to help kill the bad bacteria environment that's in your body. So you have to think about it. Every time you drink, it's going to take 3 days, and that's drinking once. So if you drink 3-4 times a week, then you're in very bad shape.
Gente, it's crazy because most people think que alcohol mata más que el azúcar. No, el azúcar mata más, pero el alcohol, again, we're going back to what our organs need to do. It is trying to kick out the modelo, cabrón. And the modelo sounds good right now. It's hot outside. I'm not perfect. But anyways, it's cleaning it out. So that's 72 hours for one, like 8-ounce pint de cerveza con alcohol. Now, what about the ones that go hard? They're going until 6 in the morning. Toman 20 o 30. They're so intoxicated is the right word.
Mm-hmm.
So intoxicated. And we see the videos, right? We see the memes and all that, going home at 6 in the morning, and we laugh because así somos, man. Somos la raza, man. But anyways, it's something that we kick
Johnny
out.
just asked, what about a little glass of wine? I used to drink a lot of wine, thinking, oh, a glass of wine a day won't harm you, but it's still alcohol, so it will harm you. Plus, it has sugar. So wine, I drink wine like I'm more like a social drinker, like once every 6 to 8 weeks, I'll have a glass of wine, but not on a daily, not once a week. So alcohol is just really, really bad.
I converted gente over into, I used to clown. I got to keep it real. I used to clown on the seltzers, but the seltzers are about the closest thing. Now, I also heard some of los doctores that we talked about that got banned about giving this information that we're talking about, that again, no wonder 100% of the websites nomás te quieren meter una pastilla, but these doctores que they banned, I heard them say, si vas a tomar algo, guess what? Toma tequila. Have you ever heard that? Because of the plant and the purity?
Well, yes, and it won't really kick you off ketosis. If you're doing like the keto diet, it won't. But I don't know. I have questions about that. If you are gonna drink, just maybe a glass, but it still will mess up your liver because at the end of the day, it's alcohol. So,
Richie Lokes, you can cook with beer también. Cálmate, cabrón. So all of a sudden you want to put beer in so everything's gonna taste like beer. You're gonna marinate the turkey on Thanksgiving with beer. No, this is crazy, gente. We're talking about asesinos, the número uno, the big C, asesino, and that's 20%. Another 20% goes to heart. We're having strokes. Nos estamos muriendo en los 40s y en los 30s. La neta. Asesino número 2. Asesino número 3. Algo que la raza le encanta, el panecito dulce, azúcar. That leads to the big D, diabetes. And number 4.
C.
And C. They're cousins. They walked down, they grew up together. They slept in the same bed. Son primos. And number 4, the number 4 asesino for the raza, we just segued into it without even trying, is cirrhosis. El hígado. Why? Strongly related. I'm sure there's more things, diet, environment, toxins, other things, hereditary things going on. But the leading cause of that is overconsumption de alcohol. That's not a shocker. That's not a surprise. Come on now, gente. We're just talking about the raza. Most of our diets at the grocery stores are what? One cart of Coke, one cart of Gatorade, the other cart of couple noodles, right? But I'm just talking about Salinas
Tortillas.
because they're campesinos. Another one of tortillas, and another one is alcohol. Alcohol y alcohol. It's crazy because I've heard of stories que están tomando even through their shifts, man.
Mhm.
Back in the day, I don't know about now, right? But back in our parents, okay, our parents trabajaron allá 70s, 80s. I've heard of those stories
Mhm.
también. It's part of the culture, but we got to break that. So I'm not perfect. I will have a very, very ice Mexicali cold modelo every once in a while because I got to keep my sanity. But gente, if we just did something to our diet, became aware of these things and know that they're putting that in our faces every day. Los gancitos, all the stuff with sugars,
Tortilla
for a
chips.
reason. It's called dinero. It's all money. Doritos. Oh man, one time I went months without eating Doritos. I was training for a fight, and the next time I smelled them, I don't know if it was just that bag, but it smelled 100% like the mierda that it is. Just a
Mhm.
mixture of 20
Mhm.
chemicals. I don't know if that was just me again. I know, gente. I know no one's perfect. We're not trying to shame you. Now let's talk diets.
Mhm.
The diet you recommend, the best diet, men and women in general, and how do people taper into it? You can't just tell someone, hey, stop what you're doing. They're used to eating every single day drive-throughs. They're used to eating every single day. Maybe mom's a cook. Maybe they live someone that's with an amazing, awesome cook. What's the best diet, and how could you tell them at least to keep their sanity? Should they do?
Um, so I'll talk about what we're doing. We're doing a keto diet, ketosis diet. That's probably the best diet with fasting when it comes down to if you have insulin resistance, or if you have family prone to like the C word, D word. Ketosis is probably the best diet, and that is a diet. It's high in fat.
Joe
The
Rogan's on that
mhm,
one.
the fats
Dana
that we're
White
talking,
is on that one.
yes, high in fat with moderate protein and very little to almost non-existent carbohydrates and sugar. So you have to stay away from sugar, carbohydrates, food that's really high in carbohydrates.
They don't believe that's not a Coke. You got to hold up the can.
It's
I'm just kidding.
it's a bubbly. Are they talking about my bubbly?
Go ahead. Yeah, keto diet, the
The keto
benefits.
diets.
Joe Rogan's on it. Dana White.
So it's the keto diet, especially if you're going based on organic stuff. Like so you have like we eat organic bacon, avocados, meats. We try to high in fat diet. My coffee consists of the coffee, and I add butter, and I add MCT oil to my coffee, and I'll add turmeric. I'll add all my spices, and that's my coffee. So that keeps your body really, the ketosis really high, which is a burning state. It's you're burning fat throughout the day when
You know
you're
what? Give the definition of that. That's great that you gave that. I've never even asked her the full definition. She keeps referring to my body goes into ketosis.
Mhm.
Why is this diet so good? And what's ketosis?
So it is a state that your body is just burning fat. Um, and
Is that all that's happening? It's just a fat
it's
burning state?
it's
Oh,
a fat burning state, and that diet really keeps your body on check. Inflammation, and obviously we talked about what feeds the C word, that disease, a big
the big
C.
C, the number one
The
killer.
number one thing that feeds it is sugar. Sugar is basically making those cells bigger. It's feeding them, making them stronger and bigger. So if you starve those cells to death, they die. And ketosis, the keto diet, is one of the ways you could do it, along with fasting. If you could fast at least 12 hours, at least 5 times a week, and it's not that hard. You would stop eating like at 7 p.m. and you don't give up. You don't eat until 7 a.m. 12 hours, and you add 14, sometimes 16. And then if you really want to clean yourself up, 24 hours, maybe once every 2 weeks is good. And like you said, 72 hours every month. That's awesome. So yes.
Art H says in Chicali they will send us for the Cokes for every meal. He's walking back with one of those boxes of 12 bottles of Cokes.
Mhm.
It's normal. We go to Mexico. How many people do you see drinking water over there?
None.
What are people drinking in Mexico?
Coke.
That's crazy, cabrón. Again, we're knocking 10 to 15 years of life.
Mhm.
So the keto diet is high fat, high protein, eating
High
things
fat,
like
moderate protein. Moderate.
moderate
Okay.
protein.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we like high protein.
Mhm. But if you want to
We're
do
not
it,
going to
if you want
compromise.
to do
We're
the
not
real,
losing weight,
if
gente.
you want to do the real keto diet, the real keto
It's
is
strict.
moderate
Yeah.
protein
And it'll probably
no
cause
sugar.
yeah, cause you to lose weight too. Guys, we don't want to lose weight. But when we're optimal strength. Everyone has, we'll do another video on the body types of men, but high fat and then moderate protein, you said. And like Joe Rogan, what do you see him eat all the time? Huevo, enteros, steak, eggs, and he always cuts jalapenos. He eats the same thing religiously. I think some of us just have grace to be able to get the diet down, and it's easier for some, and other people, they crash diet. La dieta de la sopa, la dieta de la avena, la dieta. This is common, right? In Mexican culture. Okay, la dieta de caldo, whatever it is. Why are so many people crashing on these diets?
I don't know.
She's holding back now. She wants us. She was gonna give it to us, el martillazo, and then all of a sudden she held the martillo. And I would
The way
say
I
it's
look at food,
willpower.
yes, but the way I look at it, I don't eat certain foods because I don't like how I feel immediately after I eat sugar or carbs. And I do give myself like once a month where I'll eat pasta, rice, sugar. And when I do, the very next day, I feel my joints are hurting. I feel a lot of inflammation. I'll get a headache. So I just don't like how I feel. And more importantly, I want to be healthy. Like to me, my body is my temple. So I want to be healthy. I honor my body, and that's my mindset. And it's a thing about the mind. I really believe that. It's how much do you love your body? How much it's your temple, and you have to honor it and take care of it.
So can you give the people a percentage how clean your diet is? Like if you were to say, okay,
keto,
I'll be honest, I'm like 70-30.
Mhm.
Pushing it would be 80-20, but that's still adding like 10 years of life. 80-20. Go ahead.
Me, I'm about 95%.
Yeah, that's exactly. O sea, gente, I was told when I started boxing, I was told, I don't even know if I told you, right? When I started boxing a while ago, when I started DJing the gigs and all that stuff, right? I was told that everything you eat is either going to help you or it's going to hurt you. And to me, I'm just thinking, he's just telling me this. He tells every boxer this and blah, blah, blah. But now that I think about it, and they're from the old school. I'm talking about, I got coaches that, they're from the old school. They've been to Vietnam, all that stuff, right? And it makes sense. It's either going to break up inside your body and cause you to feel energized, strong, strengthen you, or it's going to put you to sleep because you just ate a whole bolillo with pozole or whatever it was, right? Yummy, yummy, yummy food. But just know that everything you eat, that reaction.
Yes. So we do have some agreements on people saying our bodies are temple. And you just said something like you eat a bolillo or something, you mix sugar with fat, that's poison to your body. And notice that, say you go to like Olive Garden or you go somewhere with Italian food and you eat this big pasta. Have you guys noticed once you get out of there, you're just very sleepy and you just crash? Like you just don't have energy to do anything. So your body is telling you, your body is talking to you. Whereas if you eat something with very clean vegetables, with some clean protein and some good fats, you feel energy, you feel energized. So your body is talking to you. And you eat eggs in the morning and you feel energy. Notice how when you break your breakfast, if you break it with protein and fats, notice that you'll prolong the next time you eat. You won't be that hungry. But notice if you have a bolillo or a pan dulce with coffee in the morning, you're hungry within an hour because carbohydrates does that to your body. It makes you more hungry. But you eat protein with good fats, you'll prolong the next time you have to eat a meal. So that also works. And you have energy.
She just hit something that was super key. I don't want to carbohydrates keep you hungry. You can go through the drive-through at the Jack in the Crack, get all carbohydrates, and your stomach still has room for more to get right back in the drive-through, even though you just had the munchie meal or whatever it was, because carbohydrates want more. It's cochinada que quiere cochinada.
Yeah, so I noticed that on the days where I cheat, like which is like once every 3-4 weeks, I'll give myself a cheat date, and I'll eat, I don't know, sweet bread. I'll eat cheesecake, and I just continue to eat throughout the day. I'm just hungry, I'm eating and eating. But when I eat protein and good fats, the greens, I have a lot of energy and I continue. It'll take like 5 or 6 hours before I want to eat again. So yes, that's what you just pay attention to your body. Your body's going to tell you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, gente, I'm a guy. I'm not perfect on the keto diet. I've told you. Okay. So, something we haven't talked about this. Then, what's your breakfast and lunch typical dinner look like? We already talked about when we do cheat, right? We got birthday parties, we got vacations. We got to keep it real. We're human over here. We're on the road. We're traveling. Working events or something like that. But what's your typical meal look like? And I'll let you know what mine is because estoy en la oficina todo el día. So a lot of it, I don't pack anything. I constantly have to be looking at my options and my surroundings, but I'm not looking for 3 meals when I'm out of the house tampoco. What does your meal look like? Food.
I usually break my fast around 10 in the morning, 10, 11, and I'll have eggs. I'll have eggs with avocado or I'll make myself an omelet. And that'll keep me going for 3-4 hours. And right around 3 o'clock, I'll have like what I call like my biggest meal.
And maybe give 2-3 options. You don't eat the same every day, do you? Everything?
I eat eggs a lot.
She probably eats the same every day.
And I
don't
eat
know.
bacon. I eat bacon. So eggs, bacon, yeah.
Egg, bacon, avocado, coffee, all the way to lunch, and then the dinner varies. You got like 2-3 options. You cook a lot.
So anything, I guess. Like,
what did you cook today? Let the people know.
I made keto lasagna and so instead of pasta, I used zucchini, and it was very delicious.
Gente, this is crazy. It helps when you have, a helpmate. Let's just say that it helps if you're partnering up with someone, right? Because it's hard. You're the only one busting down, doing máquina, being in shape. And, it's funny. West Coast graffiti. He says 2 pump push-ups, 1 pump instead of 6 and 8 counts. Cálmate, cabrón. Pinche West Coast graffiti. No sabe. It's better that you don't know anyways. But anyways, I don't even know how we got there. Anyways, that's what it does. So, and then your options for dinner are okay. You made lasagna, but that's like a specialty dish. Other than that, what's typically in the refri? What are you choosing? What are you thinking for dinner? If say your 2-3 options.
So I always try to have some protein, right? In our dinner. So it's either chicken, beef,
marisco. You make shrimp.
Yes, I do eat
like
mariscos. So yes, try to have something high in protein with some fats. We always have guacamole, right? Guacamole.
Yeah. Gracie
vegetables.
Likes to make that fresh. She likes to make that fresh, not that bossy. Again, when you buy it from the stores, gente, you don't know what they put in it.
And if we're out and about, we'll go to In-N-Out and we have the Flying Dutchman.
Man, gente, there is no argument. You know what? Keep your Whataburger. I don't want to offend anybody, pero let's just keep this a buck, man. I go to In-N-Out and I have the Flying Dutchman. It's the 2 patties. It comes with the 2 cheeses and it has the chopped onions on top. Or I'll have a 2x2, 3x3, or 4x4, but protein style. It's still un chingo de comida with just the lettuce wrap. Now, they don't put like the Carl's Jr. Carl's Jr. puts a half a lettuce head on your protein wrap. I don't know why Carl's Jr. does that, but they're expensive burgers anyways, $15 burgers. But
Yes, but and even Carl's Jr. All their stuff is really processed.
processed. I was just gonna say that. Is there anything that's really fast that's gonna be healthy? They Subway eat fresh. Está fresco?
I don't know.
Eat chemicals. Just kidding. Stop. All right, man. Orale, modern day warrior
Well,
says,
we went
I love
yesterday.
Campbell's
Yesterday, I
soup.
had lunch at the salad shop. I think the salad shop is pretty fresh.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. Well, that's like
That's a
yeah.
restaurant.
It's un como it's an eatery. It's an eatery, and it's on the south side of Salinas. And over there is like a bar. So basically, it's toda la ensalada que quieres bar, and then they have soups. También tienes panes and other things. Okay, so let me talk about mine then. My diet. Okay, here I go. A typical day for me, gente. I wake up with the blender. That's the first thing I do. Is I gotta throw something in the blender. Gente, we're guys. Guys need energy. Energy comes from nutrients. And so I gotta throw something in the blender in the morning every day religiously. You already know that I do. I get the best protein. I'm talking about $80 for like a pack. And the whole bote is like 150 or something like that, right? It lasts me a while if I get the big can, but this is concentrated whey. And I don't even trust that. But I don't, unfortunately, I don't know how to make my own protein. So sometimes you just got to compromise, but not that much, right? Again, I'm 80-20, I think. I throw a banana in there, which I just recently saw a video. Gary, he says I should eat it. He says I shouldn't blend it. He says pierde algo, but I don't know. So it always starts with the protein shake. Now, if lunchtime comes, say I don't take something, like today I took something that you cooked, but if I don't take something, I'm either thinking a taco salad, because Jalicense and Salinas, fire. The tacos over there are fire. Me encanta los tacos de Jalicense because they drown the salsas in chile de árbol. And that's one of my favorite chiles is chile de árbol. That's that one Colorado salsa. It's a little bit darker, right? I'm either eating a taco salad. I'm either going to In-N-Out, getting Flying Dutchman's or any burger, 3x3, 4x4, only one, on a lettuce wrap. Or the salad shop is another option. Or you know what? I'll just go to Jamba Juice, even though I don't 1,000% trust that. I will just get a protein, a whey protein, PB and banana protein. I'll get a PB and banana protein. And again, that has to have something in it. No, it's not clean. I'm not making it from scratch. And by the time I get home, there's dinner. There's usually something which is going to be 100% keto. Like she said, like she literally like 2 days a month, 3 days you cheat.
2 at the most.
2 at the most. So that's why Mikey keeps a 6-pack, gente, all the time. That's why I could wash a clothes on my stomach because we're doing it like this. And the reason we're doing it like this, gente, it's a huge sacrifice. Come on, man. Let's keep it a buck. I used to drink Modelos every weekend. I know how it is. For at least a couple years, right? I'm not saying decades. No. A couple years where it was like, you know what? Just unwind. We would just want to unwind like every other family on Friday night. Like this weekend, Dia de Madres. That's why you see all the beautiful flowers over here. She got showered on her as soon as we walked through the door. My son, Mikey, shout out to him. Beautiful flowers. And this pastelito que dice Dia de las Madres o Feliz Dia de las Madres hoy.
It's more for decoration.
It's more for decor. I know what it is. Those big asesinos, is there anything else that you could think of? We talked about what they are. The big C's, number 1. Heart disease, number 2. Diabetes, number 3. They're all intertwined together. Number 4 is not a shocker for the raza. It's cirrhosis, que es the liver. Say if someone had something and they're diagnosed like bad, bad, borderline terminal, God forbid, or something like that. What's the advice? What do they do? What do they seek out? Anything, any one of these 4 or just whatever's on your mind. The big C, del corazón. We already talked about azúcar. We talked about alcohol. That's the worstest one.
I would, for the C, I would definitely, I would start doing the fasting and buy everything green, 100% organic, eliminate sugar 100%. And you know what? Apricot seeds. Look up apricot seeds, guys. It's vitamin B17, and the link with the big C. I would do that.
Apricot seeds. That's what they dicen
Mhm.
que es como molido, lo que tienes que moler o como
No,
los
están así,
polvo.
little seeds. You eat
Oh,
them. They look
seeds.
like almonds, but they're very bitter.
And then, I mean, they have to be like almost impossible to get, no?
You can find them.
You can find them?
Mhm.
I'm just saying, something que va a ayudar a la gente. It's rare, but I mean, I guess there's good guys out there.
Macheta just asked if we do a macro count. No, we don't. At least I don't. I have about 2 pretty big meals a day, like 2, and in between, if I need a snack, I'll snack. But
Yeah, let me talk about that. Snacks too. In between, gente también. I'm a guy. I get hungry. What are you gonna eat? Guess what I eat? La mayoría de la vez, if I'm not getting quesos, I'm getting like some kind of like cheese, salami, cheese, pepperoni, some of those things right there. Muchas nueces, you know. And again, I got to keep my sanity, so I like to get spicy things. So like the almonds, las cacahuates, whatever, everything has to be spicy. That's just the Mexicano in me. So nueces in between, cheeses, quesos, those are my only options. That's it. I've already programmed my mind that no, there's not all this fast food. And yes, every corner has taqueros and planchas and yummy food everywhere like that. But it's not gonna help me. It's gonna make me sluggish for
mm,
one, gain weight for, I
mm,
mean, to me, I'm pues no soy mujer, ni modo. I mean, to me, la figura, las mujeres les importa más. Guys, we want to be strong. You know, we want to be as strong as possible. Carbohydrates.
reminds me of a friend of ours that recently,
Mm,
a married man friend of
mm,
ours.
mm.
His wife recently, she's my friend. She recently started dieting, and she's doing really good. She's lost about 20 pounds in a month, and she's very happy. So I asked him. I said, "Hey, so are you like dieting with her?" And he goes, "You know what? Really, no." He goes, "You know what?"
He's telling the truth
And
though.
then, but then he
Cabrón.
tells me, I don't care how I look and how other people see me. I'm just, happy with my kids." And I didn't say anything, but in my head I thought, well, it's not about how you look, it's about your
Health.
health. So the fact that he didn't think about health, because people automatically think about
Cuerpo.
how you look. That is a definitely a plus about eating healthy. You will look better, but at the end of the day, it's how your health, it's how you feel. And like you said, having quality of life, prolonging your lifespan. So all that's important. But he just said, "No, I don't care how I look." And I wasn't asking him that, like, do you care how you look? It was just more for his health. But he said his response was
Yeah. No, I get it.
the whole, "I don't care how I look."
Yeah, yeah. And that's just that again, that's another way to lose 10, 15 years of life. It's hard, gente. I know we've all been programmed since we were little chavalitos. Hey, couple noodles. Hey, this, everything from the episode we just did right now. You're probably never gonna look at food the same. You're never gonna look at snacks the same. You're gonna think, what did Mikey say? That whole shelf is processed at the gas station. At the end of it is sugar. 75% of it is chips. Yes, it is. Everything we consume, gente, it's either helping our bodies or it's knocking time out of our
Absolutely.
lives, knocking days. They say a cigarette knocks off what? 3 days of your life? How are they able to narrow down that statistic? Because they know.
Yes. Saludos to Cultura Cafe, and saludos to my beautiful friend Jen Magaña that just
Jen is in the
commented.
casa. Let's talk about Alcachofa, Castroville. Right next to us is the capital of the world. Those are absolutely
Mm.
delicious. My father, one of his my father, my late dad, he loved alcachofas. He would eat them boiled. I wish,
Steamed.
yes, steamed, boiled, steamed, and nomás las hojas los comía. That has to be 100% nutrient. I mean, what do you
Yes,
think? That has
yes,
to be 100%.
100%.
Not everything from there's starchy food from the ground to avoid, isn't there? Starchy food. Like you don't want to eat all vegetables and fruits
Potatoes
because a
are
lot of
very
people
high.
say it comes from the ground. I mean, so potatoes, don't overconsume potatoes. ¿Qué piensas?
Yes, potatoes.
Mi amiga Convicted Hearts, Jen Magaña's in
know,
the casa,
Jen.
looking absolutely beautiful. Mi amiga Christine. It's Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Feliz Dia de las
Thank you.
Madres
Feliz Dia de
también,
las
amiga,
Madres.
to
Thank
you.
you.
If I hadn't told you, we started off the episode by just talking about Dia de Madres Mexicanas. And then Sunday, We got
is
plans on Sunday. We're gonna go out
American.
to one of our favorite restaurants
On Cannery Row.
on Cannery Row. God is good. Just be on the side of the water. I hope your weekend goes in slow motion. It's already 8 o'clock. Ya nos pasamos. It's already 8 o'clock. We did get to talk about those biggest asesinos. We tried to talk in code in Spanglish. I don't think it worked, but even don't worry about it, because you know what we just don't do. Just don't try to monetize the video.
Mhm.
That's the only way to get YouTube on your back. If off your back, you don't want them to come after you. Don't try to tell them to pay you for the video, and they won't be all up in your business and read your mail and all that. Yes, your health and being here for the Grand Braves. Yeah, bro. So I'm in my 40s. I toned down el alcohol un chingo. That was probably my worstest thing that was going to send me to an early grave. I got to keep it real, man. How many of the raza, man? I see them all the time, man. They're getting cajas and cajas of modelos. And then round 2 is Sunday, and some of them will drink walking into work, because a lot of, obviously the raza works in blue collar jobs that no one else will do. Ninguna otra raza will do that work. So they cut them some slack. Yeah, it's bad. They're even tomando en el trabajo, but it is what it is. But all that sugar, man, from the shopping cart of Gatorade, los está matando, man.
So there's that, the propaganda that Gatorade is filled with electrolytes, which help you if you're dehydrated. But the best way to hydrate yourself is through Celtic salt. You have a few little pieces under your tongue and you drink a glass of water, and that will fill you with electrolytes. And it's all natural, filled with minerals.
Hola. Hey, electrolytes is just it's positive propaganda. That's what they're spinning on a chemical that's bad for you. It powers
we
you up.
need electrolytes.
We need those? Okay.
No, we need them.
Oh, we need them.
But Gatorade is not the way.
I mean, just how they can make something seem positive for you to buy it. This is good for you. And guess what we're going to do? Oh, see? A lot of the razas like that. Miramos Univision. Oh, es que dijo el Walter. Because Walter told you you're going to go and eat it. Or Jorge Ramos told you you're going to go and listen to him. Come on. But again, you're never going to look at food the same, gente. We're going to leave this up as long as YouTube leaves it up. Last comments of the night. Last shouts out of the night, amor.
Thank you, everybody that's tuned in. Feel free to message me. I do have a big list of a lot of supplements that I take on a daily. You can find me on Instagram. It's Mrs. C. Diaz. And you can send me a direct message there if you'd like. I know so many supplements that help. But again, I think the number one cause of disease is really what we're eating and what we're putting on our bodies, like the chemicals, the shampoos, the lotions, the makeup.
I put a comment. I don't know if you have any input on that. It says, what's going on with all the dialysis centers? Opening up.
I don't know, but my family, my mom's side of the family, 5 of my mom's siblings, there's 13 of them. 5 of them had the kidney disease, and out of the 5, 3 already died. 3 out of the 5 died of kidney failure. But from my understanding, that is a gene mutation. So I don't know.
Inherited?
It's inherited. Yeah, it's a gene mutation. So it was inherited by my grandfather, who also died of kidney failure.
So there's that as well. We've been kind of harping on diet to prevent these 4 asesinos. Go back and watch the beginning of the video, but a lot of it also can be inherited.
Yeah, inherited. If it's genetically inherited, you really can't do nothing about it, but you can control your body through diet and, healthy living, but you cannot undo what you're genetically inherited, what you were born with. But there are also things that happen with the environment and what we're eating. So the number one thing I think I could tell everybody is to watch out for inflammatory foods. So if you could do an anti-inflammatory diet, that's the best thing you could do for yourself, and fasting. So those 2 things I highly, highly recommend. You don't have to do keto. That's what I do, and that's what works for me. You could do maybe a low calorie, healthy diet, but anti-inflammatory is number one.
Why are we avoiding inflammation? What is that? Inflammation.
Inflammation causes everything. Inflammation is like the trigger.
What part is inflamed?
your inner body, your muscles, your cells. It inflames and
Okay.
it causes disease.
Because when we don't specify an organ, I'm thinking
It's
I don't
everything. It's everything, from joints, from your body, your muscles,
your heart,
your
stomach,
organs, your cells. Yeah, that's
get inflamed because
eh,
inflamed people know what that is. That's like swollen. That's how it's overly
brain
produced,
inflammation. Like it causes
overly
inflammation,
enlarged.
enlarging, and it causes
Okay, I just didn't know
disease.
like inflammation, like because I'm a guy, I'm trying to think about it, like what's getting inflamed. But yeah, I sometimes drink electrolyte. Hey, wait, where are you getting electrolyte from, cabron? Is that from the dispensary? Okay, electrolyte. What do you mean light with the e, cabron? That's right, your legs. That's right, work out your legs, core. Oh, as far as exercise, real quick, this is what I do, gente. I do only 2 times a week. I do one Mickey Mouse. Tengo mi oficina, un gimnasio, a universal, and some free weights. I do a bench, 3 sets on the bench, 3 sets of the leg lifts, because the guys, we can't have chicken legs. We need to have definition and shape on our legs. So I hit the bench. It's going to be all chest and arms. Okay. I can't lift that much. I only lift like 150 barely. I'm a skinnier, lankier guy. Okay. I may not lift, but I guarantee you I know how to fight. But anyways, leg lifts like this to at least give the legs some shape. And then I do free weights. I lift the 35s, and I do burnouts. I don't count them. I just go until I can't go. And that's that strength. That mixed with the vitamins D3, amor, that's the biggest, Gary Brecka said, the biggest stimulant of testosterone, along with either a half a gallon or a gallon of water. I drink every single day since 2010.
And the best way to get vitamin D3 is, do you know?
Oh, like from foods?
I'm just asking you.
No, I just know the pastilla.
Okay, so
And we're preaching
the
against pastillas.
best way to get vitamin D3 is through the sun outside. The sun gives you vitamin D3.
And what are we, raza? People of the sun. Oh man, shout out to my brother Wayward son. And if anyone never hasn't reminded you in a long time, if you're Mexican, you're indigenous. That means your ancestors fasted until the next meal. That was God's plan to help them clean their bodies, I think, and use natural remedies en la tierra before they ran to make an appointment and they pilled you up for the rest of your life, because that's what they would love to do. Any last comments? Your legs. He said your legs. So that's the and then on Saturdays, and sometimes I recorded them over here, gente, I would do a bag and burpee routine. So I would do like 108 counts, maybe 6 counts. Okay, maybe 6 counts, right? Keep it real. The 8 counts, get me more tired. I might do 58 counts.
Seed oils are really, really bad for you.
Seed oils is what the worst. Why do you think they have shelves and shelves of canola and vegetable oil? They melt that at 400 degrees, and it's a chemical that has such a putrid smell. They have to add another chemical just to make it smell better. Kind of like cologne. They got to put cologne, but it doesn't smell like cologne.
My understanding is that vegetable oil, for example, which is a seed oil, is even worse than sugar. So yes, you have to stay away from
Gabriel,
vegetable oil.
now we're not saying eso, cabron, but what I have learned from doing a 72-hour fast, and all of the censored doctores that you can't find on the internet anymore, they done took all their social media presences, is they all said that fasting is such a key element to start combating any one of these asesinos. We talked about the big C, heart disease, diabetes, and cirrhosis del hígado, the 4 biggest killers of the raza. And we talked about the causes for all of that stuff. Final comments, we talked about seed oils, vitamin S. Oh, yeah, vitamin D in the sun. Absolutely. A mí me encanta. A mí me encanta estar en el sol. Don't try to avoid that, even though they do say the sunspots. Los que no quieren, no? Ages your skin.
No, I mean, you can't
Las
be
mujeres.
out in the sun for 2 hours. You're going to get sunburned, but they say 10, 15 minutes, a day, it will enrich you with vitamin D3.
What's the olive oil, real quick before we go? What's the brand that
I buy the one at Costco. What I make sure is that 100% imported from Italy. That's the key. 100%.
Okay.
Okay.
Last
No, it's
comment for
not
the night, you
mixed.
guys. Last
And that one's
comments.
good for you.
All right, we're going to kick off Mother's Day weekend, you guys. Gracias for tuning in. The episode of the Chicano Hour, live on Chicano Tube, live on Chicano Street, the voice of Chicanos for Chicanos. Go back and listen to it. Very much informational, you guys. Guys, we wish you a happy Mother's Day weekend.
Yes.
We hope you got
Happy
some
Mother's
information
Day.
out of this. All we're trying to do is just empower Chicanos through knowledge and through experience. So shout out to all my day oneers. I'm going to do a roll call right now of the chat real quick before we go. I appreciate you. DL's in the casa. That's right. Southtown SD, my boy. E-Rod 209. I appreciate you. Denver made everlasting base. C-Dog, my boy. Leo M. That's right. Güero Lida. Al Red Dog. That's right. Richie Lokes, my boy. I appreciate you. Niner Gang 209's in the casa. Jen Magana, mi amiga. GL. Gracias, all
Thank
you guys.
Thank you all for tuning
Gracias
in.
for the comments. Johnny Salgado's in the casa as well. Mike Wallace. That's right, you guys. We're going to go ahead and let you guys go. Happy Mother's Day weekend,
Happy
you
Mother's
guys.
Day.
We're going to go ahead and keep it up. But remember, the most important thing that I always say, mi raza, the most important thing I always say is what? In the end, all you got is the memories.
Ciao.